Louisville and Florida State. Last year they were the top two teams in the Metro Conference. This year they're within a half game of one another, and the battle this afternoon will decide who finishes on top between these two clubs in the Metro Conference.
NBC Sports, in association with TVS, presents the best of college basketball. Today's Metro Conference game features the Louisville Cardinals versus the Florida State Seminoles. Brought to you by Michelob Light, an exceptional light beer with a rich, smooth taste. By Honeywell, you should see what we do with computers. By Pontiac, test drive the new 1982 Pontiac at your Pontiac dealer, because now the excitement really begins. And by Texaco, who also brings you quality automotive products you can trust.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Civic Center in Tallahassee. I'm Andy Musser along with James Brown. We're looking forward to this battle this afternoon. These two teams met before this year. Of course, most of the luck in this series has gone to Louisville, but right now the Cardinals have lost 3 in a row, James, and that's not typical at all.
Well, they ran into a tough stretch, Andy, but keep in mind that Louisville does not play a patsy schedule, so they did run into a rough stretch. If there were two common threads through the 3 losses, it had to be the fact that Louisville was not shooting very well free throw-wise, and they didn't capitalize on some turnover situations they created. However, they've had some excellent practices this week, and I know they're loaded for bear today.
And they have a deep team. A lot of their players are back from last year, including Derek Smith, and he's one of the outstanding players in the country.
No question about that. An extremely talented ball player, very aggressive around the boards. He's physical on the inside, possesses a very good shooting touch, especially around the 18-foot range and particularly in the corners.
Florida State, on the other hand, is an entirely new team from a year ago, and so a 9-9 record, which they bring into the ball game, actually looks pretty good at this point. And one of their top players has to be Tony William. I guess as he goes, so go the Seminoles.
Oh, well, he is the key as far as Florida State is concerned in handling that Louisville aggressive man-to-man press. Very good ball handler. As a matter of fact, he's got the best shooting range of any player on the Florida State team. Florida State has got a good record in 9-9 because keep in mind 11 of those 18 games were on the road, and that's pretty good for a young team.
And their last game was an overtime loss to Jacksonville. That was a real tough ball game, but they come into this one this afternoon looking forward to finally breaking this jinx against Louisville, which is stretched now, as we say, 9 straight games. And we'll have the opening of this afternoon's ball game right after these messages.
Steve, a little one-on-one. I ought to do some yard work for a Michelob Light. I don't have to do any yard work.
Would good friends really go at it this hard just for a beer? Well, consider it's Michelob Light, and that means a rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
102 to 98. How did you do it? Defense?
Michelob Light. Compare the taste.
You can feel the anticipation in the pit of your stomach because you're about to take the first real drive in your new Firebird Trans Am. Your pulse quickens as the exhilarating 5-liter V8 comes to life. Now the road beckons, and freedom is just a few miles away. The moment you've been waiting for is here. Pontiac. Now the excitement really begins.
Is Gillette Foamy thick and rich enough to restrain this rushing roller coaster? No. Is Foamy thick and rich enough to support this lovely lady? No. Is Foamy thick and rich enough to hold up this husky hiker?
No. But if you want a clean, close shave, it's more than thick and rich enough.
Does life seem tougher? With inflation and taxes?
It seems like I'm working harder and making less. Sometimes it gives me a miserable headache.
Life got tougher and we got stronger. This is Extra Strength Excedrin. Unsurpassed strength with the 2 most powerful pain relievers you can buy. And a 3rd ingredient that may make them work even harder on your headache.
When I get a headache, I fight back with Excedrin.
Extra Strength Excedrin. Capsules or tablets. Life got tougher and we got stronger.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tallahassee-Leon County Civic Center, where today's contest puts the Louisville Cardinals against the Seminoles of Florida State. The starting lineups for today: for Louisville, at forward, number 43, Derek Smith. For Florida State, starting forward, number 32, Michael Johnson. For Louisville, at forward, number 22, Rodney McCray. For Florida State, number 50, at forward, David Spates. For Louisville, at center, number 21, Scooter McCray. At center for Florida State, number 35, Orrin Gilmore. At starting guard for Louisville, number 4, Lancaster Gordon. For Florida State, starting guard, number 23, Tony Williams. For Louisville, at guard, number 5, Jerry Eves. And for Florida State, at guard, number 22, Mitchell Wiggins. And the head coach for the Louisville Cardinals, Coach Denny Crum, and for Florida State, Coach Joe Williams.
The amazing big roller rides so smooth.
4-1 record. The Cardinals have a 4-2 record, and Florida State is 3-2. A look at the matchups, and we're about ready to go. Gilmore jumps center against Rodney McCray, who is actually listed as a forward, but jumps center for the Cardinals, and the Cardinals win the opening tip. In the second half, they will move at the basket in front of their own bench. All right, let's set them up for you. This is McCray, Rodney McCray, going outside for the jump shot. And it was no good for Lancaster Gordon, and we have a foul.
Well, you see right off the bat, Florida State is doing a good job of trying to block out. They recognize two of the keys in today's game against Louisville is that they've got to block out and minimize Louisville's second and third efforts on the board. Good job by Orrin Gilmore that time.
Here's David Spates to trigger the inbound. And, of course, we see a press, and Louisville has more or less announced their intention to press the entire ball game, so this doesn't surprise us at all. They will put pressure on the guards. Michael Johnson gets in the lane, drops the ball, but keeps it live. The Seminoles, a patient team when they have to be, and they'll take some concentration today against this Louisville defense. First shot of the game, and good by Gilmore. That's Artis Gilmore's little brother, Orrin, 6'9", from Bloom Township, Illinois.
No apprehension about putting that shot up. He's got a feathery soft touch around the free throw lane and in, Andy.
Scooter McCray, one of the best passing big men, moved by Derek Smith. You see how they double cover him, but Derek Smith gets the bank shot away. He's averaging almost 16 points a ball game. Lead pass all the way up, but the ball spills out for Wiggins. Beautiful pass to Wiggins, but he couldn't get it to go. And a jump shot for Scooter McCray, a little bit strong with it, and rebounded by Mitchell Wiggins. Wiggins is their top rebounder, even though he's a guard. Michael Johnson's shot almost went in on the top off the top of the glass. Picked up again by Gilmore. He scores. 2 baskets for Gilmore.
I think you can see by the pace of the game in the first couple of minutes that Florida State is determined to run with them. They feel they've got a good, fast-breaking squad. They're quick at all 5 positions, and they feel they can run with Louisville.
Here's Derek Smith. He'll have the ball a lot this afternoon. He is a fine player. Lobs inside, but he makes a bad pass. It's intercepted by Tony Williams. Williams saw Spates up front, but he could not get the ball to him. So a chance to run for Florida State has diminished. But they do have control, and the Seminoles lead the game 4-2.
Good intelligent decision by Tony Williams that time to pull up. Had a controlled fast break, didn't have a clear-cut shot. So now you're going to see him going to their freelance offense.
Boy, Gilmore looks very active offensively today. This one taken down by Scooter McCray, Eves on Lancaster Gordon, and up to Rodney McCray. And Rodney's pass inside was kicked away by Williams.
Big plus right now for Florida State is that their transition from offense to defense has been exceptional. They know Louisville likes to run. They're getting all 5 players back on defense.
All right, let's see what the Cardinals are up to this time. They go to Derek Smith, as they will so often. They have a fine passing team. Their guards are good passers, and so are their big men. Eves gives to Lancaster Gordon, and they work a play down to the baseline to Scooter McRae, but he draws double team coverage, takes the shot anyway, in and out. Rebounded, and he puts it in left-handed. Scooter McRae from Mount Vernon, New York, with the left-handed layup to tie the game.
And that's the strength of Louisville, second and third efforts.
Wiggins, lead pass all the way up to Wiggins from Tony Williams. He's done that a couple of times already. Earlier it didn't work, this time it did. And a 6-4 lead belonging to Florida State. The Cardinals won a high-scoring game. Here's Derek Smith, but he's bothered inside. And the ball coming out to Wiggins. To Tony Williams. He gives it up, but we've got a charging foul on the play.
Smart decision by Tony Williams to penetrate that time. Anytime you start to penetrate, as we take a look at Tony Williams, he sees on the side here, he's got a clear cut to the basket, so he tries to slice along the middle. Realize the basket is being obstructed, and he passes off, and they call a foul on the pass off.
Scooter McRae called on that foul. Here's Michael Johnson passing all the way cross court. And up and good for Tony Williams, a sophomore out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. He's second in the conference in assists. Here's great penetration by Lancaster Gordon, getting all the way in for the layup. And the Cardinals just don't waste any time. We've got ourselves a run-and-gun game right now. Florida State leading 8-6.
Tell you, this game certainly isn't lacking in action the first few minutes.
No, it isn't. Tony Williams guns in one from the outside. Williams has 2 field goals, the first Seminole to get to. And a driving one-hander by Jerry Eves.
A good way to get his team involved back in the game. Jerry Eves penetrated full court that time. Excellent move.
And we have a timeout called by Florida State. Well, we have had a very...
With you
back here at the Tallahassee Leon County Civic Center, a brand new building this year, and you take a look at the team's records. This building seats 12,500, built at a cost of $34 million, replacing the ancient Tully Gym, which the Seminoles used for 26 years.
That old Tully Gym was like a 6th player on the floor for Florida State in the years past because they had the crowd so close to the arena. It definitely served in their behalf.
Well, you're right. They probably did sacrifice a little home court advantage moving in here. Now, I know, for example, yesterday, though, neither team was able to work out here because of a show in this arena last night. That's got to be a disadvantage for the Cardinals because they didn't see the building until this morning for the first time.
Excellent point, Andy. The first 4 minutes of the game have to be minutes of adjustment for Louisville. Depth perception, getting a feel for the court and everything.
Boy, look at Louisville pressing even on the inbound passes. Florida State's ball. Seminoles ahead by 2 points. And the Cardinals have said they're going to press for the entire ball game, and so far they've done that. We haven't had any lineup changes yet. Tony Williams, he's the playmaker, 4th best in the Metro Conference in assists. Here, David Spates, the freshman forward. They're in a man-to-man defense right now.
Florida State runs basically an overload offensive set. If that doesn't work, then they'll get into their freelance offense, emphasizing ball movement.
That was tipped out of bounds by Jerry Eves, but he tipped it over the sideline, and so it'll still be Seminole ball. We have 15 and a half minutes remaining in the first half. When these two teams met January 4th at Freedom Hall, the final was Louisville 79, Florida State 57. But actually, with 9:25 left in that ball game, it was only a 2-pointer in favor of Louisville. And that's what we have right now, 2-pointer. Crisp pass inside, bobbled, then knocked away from Wiggins, and here come the Cardinals. Gordon gives it inside, and a nice layup by Rodney McRae.
Excellent job of penetrating, going to the foul line by Lancaster Gordon, an even better job of filling the lanes by all 4 Louisville remaining players.
Now the Cardinals have not had a lead, but they've worked it back to a 10-all tie, and that was a tough task to handle. Actually, Michael Johnson led him by too much that time. The pass was too high, no chance for Wiggins to handle the pass.
Well, Wiggins is a skywalker indeed, but that pass was a little too high for him to handle. I think a true testimony to his jumping ability is the fact that he's leading the team at only 6'4" in rebounding as well as scoring.
That was stolen by Williams. He tipped the pass, and now we have a foul on the drive of the lane. Credit that play to Tony Williams as he tipped the pass, and they called the foul on Scooter McRae.
Take a look at the move here. Good pass is going to go over to him. Michael Johnson is going to take it right to the straight as he goes up, and the official calls a contact right there. The thing you got to like in the early goings for Florida State is that they're going right at the Louisville strength. They're taking it to the big guys down low.
Michael Johnson hits his fouls at 70%. And we're having our first lineup change of the afternoon. Number 33, Charles Jones, is checking in for the Louisville Cardinals, and he will replace Scooter McRae. Charles Jones, he's 6'8", out of Scuba, Mississippi. I love that name.
I'll tell you one thing with his play, he's certainly going to put Scuba, Mississippi on the map.
And the Seminoles back up by 2 points. Here's a little pressure on the part of the Seminoles now, but the Cardinals are used to that kind of thing too, and they get it into their forecourt. New player in the game, 33, Charles Jones, wearing a thigh brace, you'll see. Rodney McRae feeds it off for a jump shot by Lancaster Gordon. And Jones gets the rebound, but we have a foul underneath. Jones just off the bench, in on that battle for the foul.
The second and third efforts displayed by Louisville is exactly what had Coach Williams concerned. He told his players yesterday, you've got to block him out. As a matter of fact, they had Gilmore out there a half an hour working on his blocking out. He was guilty that time.
Speaking of Gilmore, he was the man guilty of that personal foul.
See, Florida State has gone to a 2-3 zone now. It's not a trapping zone. It's just to try to force him to take the outside shot from the perimeter as opposed to the corner.
And the Cardinals look over the zone a little bit as they come back to Derek Smith here on the right. Wants to go to McRae. He was covered. Now motions for Jones to come out at the baseline. And they're trying to find a little seam in that zone. Here's Derek at the baseline, but it's well short of the mark. And nice offensive rebound by Gordon. Gordon picked that one right off the floor.
Well, you notice Louisville is spreading the play out. They're trying to get the ball to either corner, to either Lancaster Gordon or Derek Smith, who are both excellent shooters from the corners.
Lancaster Gordon gets tied up. Now that time he forced the pass inside. That was not a good one. He was looking for Jones, who was well covered, but he forced the pass. However, it did draw the foul.
Indeed, it was a forced pass. Florida State displayed good defensive positioning in all the key areas. Watch here. Watch the hands of the Florida State players. They're up in the passing lanes. Lancaster Gordon is going into a guy who's got 2 men on him right there.
A jump shot by Jerry Eves is short of the mark. Rebounded by Michael Johnson. That last foul was on Gilmore, by the way. And Florida State leads 12-10. Well, you see how they duck inside and look for that quick play, and if it doesn't develop, then they'll go back out and set it up, and that's what they're doing right now. The Seminoles of Florida State. And the pass down low, stolen away from Michael Wiggins. Eves decides to give it back to McRae, and that pass was kicked out of bounds by Gilmore. Now we have our first lineup change of the afternoon for the Seminoles of Florida State. And coming into the ball game is Bobby Miles, number 33. He's 6'8", out of Tallahassee. And they list him as being the team's most intelligent player. Jerry Eves on the dribble. His backboard made Gordon. McRae, and right between the legs of Jerry Eves. He wasn't concentrating that time, and he didn't look it into his hands, huh, James?
In addition, what this 2-3 zone of Florida State has effectively done is to slow the tempo of Louisville offensively. It's got them thinking they're not moving quite as crisply on the offensive end.
And they don't like that. They want to play a running game, but they have been thwarted from doing that so far. Now the Seminoles look for something. Nothing doing for Wiggins. William feeds inside, but the ball bouncing away. They've lost a lot of balls right underneath. Derek Smith has it. And they play inside for a quick turnaround by Charles Jones. Charles Jones is averaging 4.8 a ball game.
I tell you, that was about an 8.5 on a degree of difficulty scale. He went up with an awful lot of contact to convert that one.
High ball game now. Tony William on a floater across the lane. Tony William, who contributes about 13-4 a ball game, just took that one right to the hoop.
Very pretty move, and with that move, that shows the confidence level that he's playing at in this game.
Seminoles just refused to get behind in this ball game. It's been either tied or they've been up by 2 for nearly the entire game so far. We have about 12 minutes left in the first half.
Mitchell Wiggins has really been doing a good job on Lancaster Gordon. Louisville has tried to go to Lancaster down low a couple of times because he possesses such good jumping ability. Mitchell Wiggins has been right there with him.
And you know who has taken hardly any shots in the game at all is Eves. Derek Smith, and what a stop by David Spates. He'll be called on the foul, but he really rose to the challenge.
I tell you, the crowd is pumped up. Take a look at the replay here. They get the ball into Derek Smith and watch him go high right there, playing above the rim. 2 Skywalkers, excellent play.
Well, we have had some outstanding action in the game so far. We still have 11:32 left to go in the first half, and It's Florida State 14, Louisville 12 right now. Duncan and Lane driving college basketball action when Ray Meyer's 4th-ranked DePaul Blue Demons take on the high-scoring Syracuse Orangemen. Others of you will see the Minnesota Gophers meet the defending national champion Indiana Hoosiers or Georgia versus Kentucky. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Coming up next, right after this game here on NBC.
You know, Andy, Derek Smith had dunk on his mind when he went to the basket that time, but the 6'6" freshman, David Spates, obviously had other ideas. He's only 6'6", but he's got the wingspan of a guy 6'9".
He did a heck of a job. This ball was tipped out of bounds by Mitchell Wiggins, and incidentally, on that play, there was no foul called. That was a legal block.
I don't think the referees can see that high.
Here's a high wire act pass. Coming back for a shot by the left-hander Eves, and he puts it in. Jerry Eves, scoring about 12 points a ball game, has his 2nd field goal this afternoon. And we have a tie game. Florida State 14, Louisville 14. Mitchell Wiggins pass in the lane to Spates. Hey, that David Spates plays the game somewhere above the floor, doesn't he?
No question about that. He plays at that treetop range. He had dunk on his mind that time, but he actually made contact with the Louisville player going up, and he had to adjust and just lay it in with the finger roll.
Spates averages about 11 points per contest. That was his first 2 today. Inside to Eves, and he misses. Lancaster Gordon missing the shot. And here's a ball popping loose in the lane, and Charles Jones brings it out. The Cardinals on a break. Here goes